thanks so much for joining us. You can see we have a special guest, Keri Cook Falls.
Hi there. How are you? I'm happy to be here.
We're thrilled to have you.
I'm happy to be a part of this. I love matching clients' personalities.
Awesome. Perfect topic then.
Yeah.
So tell us, because not everyone probably in the company knows what office you're from. Like, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. So I manage the Bannockburn and Lake Forest offices. I started as an agent in 2004, having come from a design background. I come from a family of real estate professionals, and so that finally caught up to me. And then I joined the management team about 3 years ago. 3 or 4. I think I'm going on 4.
Awesome.
Time flies when you're having fun.
That's right. That's the truth, right?
Yeah.
Like 2020 flying by. Lots of fun this year.
Oh yeah, super fun.
So we're going to, today we're talking about matching your client's personality, right? And this fits into what we're talking about this week in terms of relationships and connecting. And a big part is understanding whether it's a client or someone else, which we'll get to later, understanding their personality to be able to not only get where you want to go, but to get your clients certainly where they want to go. Without further ado, matching your client's personality, and we'll be back after this video.
Hello and welcome to the Ninja Path. My name is Larry Kendall. I'm the author of Ninja Selling, and our goal is to help you increase your income per hour so that you can have a life. We do that by helping you focus on your 3 success keys: your mindset, your skill set, and your actions. This lesson is a skill set lesson devoted to helping you match your client's personality. You know, there's 2 great rules for business. The first one is the golden rule. Treat others the way you would like to be treated. That's a great rule, and it's a great rule in business. But there's a rule that's even better. It's the platinum rule. Treat others the way they want to be treated. You know, they may not want to be treated the way you want to be treated. So treating them the way they want to be treated, it's about them, it's not about us. In order to treat them the way they want to be treated, we need to take a look at their personalities. How many of you have had personality profile training? It's like DISC or Myers-Briggs or Anagram. There's a number of systems out there. The Ninja system is a takeoff on the DISC. We've just given it different names because I have found that most ninjas can't remember what the D, the I, the S, and the C stand for. So we have different terms. The D, or driver personality, we call them power people. And power people are very outgoing and they're very task-driven. For them, it's all about the future. They're big thinkers, they're visionaries, they have big goals, they're goal setters, and they have an urgency to get to those goals and an urgency to get to that future. If you're working with a power person, many times they'll ask you a question, you'll start to answer, they'll snap their fingers and say, got it. That means we're to shut up, they're going to ask another question. They're very bottom line oriented. They just want to get to the bottom line. They just need a few details and they're ready to make a quick decision. They're also risk takers. They're always moving towards what they want and they're willing to take risks to get there. How do you recognize power people? Well, some of the professions are entrepreneurs, CEOs. They tend to have very short and to the point emails. They also have a sense of urgency about them. And they're pretty easy to notice, our power people. The second group is our party people. They're also outgoing, but they're not as task-oriented, they're more people-oriented. And for them, their time frame is the present moment, the now. They love having fun, they love building relationships, they like working together, they like working on teams. You recognize party people because they tend to have a very positive vibe, they're very upbeat, positive type people, and they can be fairly impulsive. They make very quick decisions. If it feels good, what? Let's go, let's do it. And they're willing to take risks. They're go-for-it type people. They're risk takers. It's interesting. What are some of the professions? The hospitality industry, servers, bartenders. The sales industry, a lot of realtors are party people. And the other thing we notice about party people is they like to dress up because there might always be a party. Our next group are the peace people. Now, peace people are more reserved and they're very people-oriented. The power people focused on the future. The party people focused on the present, the peace people focus on the present and the past. They don't like change. If it's working, let's just keep it the way it is. Peace people are a stabilizing influence on your team or in your company. They don't get too worked up or want to change things too quickly. Power and party people are the change makers. Peace people are the stabilizers. And they don't like to make decisions until they answer one very important question: trust. Do they trust us? Do they trust themselves? Do they trust the process? And the peace people are your classic go-givers. They also take their time on decisions. They're a slower decision maker, and they're risk avoiders. They don't like to take risks. Peace people like guarantees. They like warranties. They would rather have the 30-year fixed than the adjustable rate mortgage. They like to know what they're in for. Our fourth group are the perfection people. They're also reserved, but rather than people-oriented, they're more task-oriented. Their focus is the present and the past. This group likes data. They like a lot of numbers. They ask a lot of questions. They really believe that if they can analyze it enough, they can make a really good decision. They want to make not only a good decision, they want to make a perfect decision if they can. They also like to be the source of knowledge and the source of information. This group tends to be slower decision makers because they have to build a spreadsheet. What are some of the professions for perfection people? Well, accountants, engineers, bankers would be typical, and they are risk avoiders. Like the peace people, they don't like to take risks. One of the questions that comes up sometimes is, which cars do they drive? Well, what we know is the power and the party people, the power people tend to many times like to drive big cars, fast cars, preferably in black or white, because their world is what? Black or white. Party people like to drive any car that's fun. It could be anything from a sports car to a Jeep. The peace people, and by the way, some of the occupations for peace people are the helping professions: school teachers, nurses, therapists. There's one car company that has targeted them. That company is Subaru. You love your Subaru loves you. Love and peace. And then, of course, the perfection people, what car will they buy? They will buy the car that was most highly rated by Consumer Reports or by J.D. Power. Communication challenges occur between power and peace. That's the most challenging communication link. And why is that? Well, power people are very quick to make decisions. Peace people need to take their time. If you're a power realtor working with a peace buyer, you're going to need to slow down. If you're a peace realtor working with a power customer, you're going to need to speed it up. Another challenge is the link between party and perfection. Party people, are they detail-oriented? Generally not. How about perfection people? Very detail-oriented. You know, perfection people write perfect emails, perfect grammar, perfect spelling. And so if you're a party person working with a perfection customer, you're going to need to pay attention to the details. If you're a perfection realtor working with a party customer, you're going to have to mellow out a little bit. What are the percentages? Well, in the U.S., 15 to 20% are power people, 25 to 30% are party people. The largest group in the United States are peace people at 35 to 40%. And then you have their perfection people at 15 to 20%. In Canada, there's one group that dominates, and that is the party people. 40 to 60% are party people. The other three personalities are pretty well evenly split. What's the best team? Well, the best team would be a team that's made up of all four personalities, because then you have all the bases covered. I'd like to wrap up with one other suggestion on the Platinum Rule, and that is match the behavior, match the posture and the speaking and so on of your customer. Because what we know is people tend to trust people that are more like them. So on the personalities, you may have to modify your personality to theirs. On your voice, if they're soft-spoken, you may have to lower your voice. If their tempo is a little faster, you may have to speed it up or slow it down. On their body movements and their posture, if they're sitting erect at the table, you want to sit erect at the table. If they're more laid back and relaxed, you are more laid back and relaxed. A rule of thumb on the gestures. We either have a big gesture orbit or a small gesture orbit or no gesture orbit at all. Always keep your gesture orbit equal to or smaller than theirs. There's been quite a bit of research on this. We don't know why, but if your gesture orbit gets larger than theirs, it makes them uncomfortable. If you follow these suggestions, learning the personalities and learning to match, you'll be following the platinum rule. And I think you'll find that you have much better communication and much better results. Thank you for joining us.
One of the things that, let's stop the share. One of the things that came up, I just want to give a good example that we can all relate to about the platinum rule. And the reason being is that a lot of times we say the golden rule, treat others as you want to be treated. But here's a great example. If you've ever had a friend or a relationship or a family member, which all of us do, in a scenario where we've done something, right? We do something, we have some action, we say something, and the other person says to us, well, how would you feel if I did that? And the response is, I wouldn't care. Do you see? Even though it doesn't matter to me, if they did that to me, it wouldn't upset me. Whatever I've done has upset them. That is a great example of the platinum rule. Treat people the way that they want to be treated, not the way that we want to be treated. Communicate with other people the way that they want to communicate, not the way that we communicate. So I just want to give a good example that hopefully, if you can relate to that, throw that in the chat, because I think we've all, again, if you've ever had a family member, a friend, a relationship with anybody, that comes up pretty often. So,
and if I may interject, I think it's appropriate that last week we were talking about love yourself, right? And now this week we're moving into the platinum rule. Okay, now that you love yourself or are working on that, now you can spread that love and share the love and identify with someone else and where they're coming from.
Right, great point.
So should I tell everybody what personality type I am? I know you're all waiting with bated breath.
Let's go through takeaways. I just want to cover to recap.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I'm joking.
That's all good. But we're going to get to that because I know we are waiting for that.
It's all about you. No, it will be in a minute. So number one, I guess we should all just move to Canada, where there must be a party every day, everywhere. But that was one of my favorite things. And the three of us were talking about it yesterday when we were preparing for this, about how interesting it is that, you know, the bulk of Canada is party people. But I think one of the other things, and I saw Marsha put it in, she said, call me Sybil. And I think that's I love that comment, because I think we are all a combination. If any of us have done have done DISC or other similar things, you always find out that you've got a little bit of you in different zones, right? And so I think saying call me Sybil is great, because you can be a little bit in all four, you can be one or two things, etc. So I think that's really great. So I love that one, Marsha. So thanks for throwing that one in. And then Justin threw in, learn to flex new muscles to align with a personality different than your own, which I loved. I like the, learn to flex some new muscles, do something different, do something new. Figuring out how to do something that you would not, to react differently, behave differently, handle a process differently than you would have done without thinking about who your client is and how they need to be treated, communicated with, etc. Speed, tone, even the hand gesture thing I thought was really interesting. We are getting so many new messages, but the other one is Evelyn said, mirror your clients. And that's another one. So, this is called matching your client's personality, but a lot of this is about mirroring, right? Understanding how they need to have things done and adjusting, tailoring your processes and communication to them. So mirroring the way they respond back. Now, while I've been talking, I'm not sure. Yeah, Jules said she also found that gesture orbit interesting. So, we can probably think of people that we see on TV, and some people are probably can't see me, way out here. And then other people have very little hand gestures and are more controlled. So, thinking about what your body positioning and what you do with your body tells you about that person's personality. Let me see, what else? Anything, Kevin, that you've seen while I've been talking? Because there are 54 new messages since I looked.
There's a lot in there. I think you covered the big ones. I think we're going to dig a little bit deeper, and Keri specifically is going to dig into the steps in using these personality types. And I think, actually, Keri, I want to ask you, what is the importance of this? I think we kind of get it, but if you could sum it up, how does this apply to us today?
Yeah. I noticed one of the comments was from Harry Maisel, and he said you have to be a chameleon in this business. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. That's not to say that everybody in sales is a party power person and has that natural ability, but I think that's why we do these types of things. I think it's very important. Knowing the steps to a transaction is one thing, but I think what's even more important is being able to communicate, right? And ask the right questions of your client and being able to read where they're coming from and what type of personality they are. So I thought his point was well taken. And I think it's interesting to have this framework, and I like how Ninja set it up. We've all taken different personality tests, and as Larry Kendall said in the video, this is kind of an easier way to remember it: power, perfection, party, peace. And you can start going through the Rolodex in your mind of all the people that are around you that you work with and kind of figure out who they are. And it keeps you mindful of how you're going to speak with them. And that's a skill that we all have to use because we have to interface not just with our colleagues and our clients, but the co-op agents, other clients, inspectors, attorneys. So I think this is just very, very key to understanding.
Yeah, agreed. So
I would say I'm between a power and a peace personality, which makes me a little crazy. I am very decisive, but I also like to keep the peace. I don't always love change, but I understand change is important. And it also might explain, like when I'm managing my offices, the tougher the challenge, the more engaged and excited I am to find a peaceful resolution. So that's how I apply it in my everyday life. I'm not afraid of the challenge, but I try to make it a win-win for everybody.
how about you, Carma?
I am a little bit power and perfection. So I was a double major in English and economics. So I write perfect emails. I correct grammar, even if you don't ask me to. And I love data, and I have spreadsheets for everything. So, and as Kevin, what was that?
Perfect.
Literally everything. So it is, it's funny, always funny to sort of watch these kinds of videos, read things, etc. And it's, you step back and realize, what traits you really have that we don't always self-reflect and take time to think about who we are and understand that that's going to impact our business and the people that we work with. And I think, the chameleon comment is important. And also, I tended, when I was selling, I tended to attract a lot of finance and lawyers, financial guys and lawyers. And lawyers loved it because I had an absolutely step-by-step process. Every single thing was outlined. I would write, they would be like, oh, you write emails like I write emails. So they love that. And then the bankers and the finance guys all liked all my spreadsheets and all my data.
Yeah, mine. I'm a little bit all over the board. I'm a power, and then a peace. Like I like people to get together. I like things to calm, how to resolve situations and make it so that emotions don't escalate. But something interesting that I want to, so that's me. And then I have some perfection in me because the grammar and the there, your like bugs the heck out of me. So Keri, if you want to go into some steps that we can take, how we apply this to what we're doing specifically, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to mention a comment that Jorge made, one of our fellow managing brokers. And it speaks to being self-aware and knowing your personality. And so I think if we all take the time, if you haven't done that before, to know what kind of personality you are and be self-aware, then you can identify and help others and help navigate the people you interact with. So I think when you're trying to determine a personality type, it's very important, and we talk about this, to listen, to ask questions. Ask questions about how they like to communicate. Of course, if it's a power person, they want it quickly, they want it, bottom line it. And then if you're perfection, of course, you want proper grammar, and you want to be able to provide stats and provide them quickly to the power people. So asking questions, reading body language, and really kind of mimicking how they are, to meet them where they are, the platinum rule. I think another important thing is when you're going out to meet a new client, it's important to do a little research, Google their name, figure out who they are, and that informs us on what type of person they might be. If they're a CEO, clearly they're probably a power person. If they're a nurse, they're probably in the peace camp, So tailor your conversation to personality, profession, all of those things that probably inform what type of personality they are. And I think just listening and asking all the important questions to tailor the way you work with them to procure a great outcome. I think this holds true not just for clients, but also, as we mentioned earlier, particularly in these days with very trying transactions, our co-op brokers as well. We have to be the port in the storm for our clients in these transactions that can be contentious, multiple offers, inspection issues. And if we are also able to read the personality type of the co-op broker, we can find some common ground more easily, I believe, that way.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think sometimes we don't think about that. We just think about this with our clients, but co-op agents, huge, right? What's our goal? Our goal is to get our clients what they want, which is to either buy or sell. And if we can interact in a more efficient way and communicate with the other agent, it's only going to lead to more success, right?
Absolutely. I think, because there is so much disconnect in certain markets between buyers and sellers. And no matter what company the co-op broker is with, of course, we're going to treat them how we want to be treated, but also how they want to be treated. And it's our job. We're working together as brokers to find the best solution for our buyers and sellers. And that can't happen if we get in the way of that outcome. And so that's why it's important to understand who you're working with on the other side as well.
I've got a quick tip before we get to Karma's pro tip. Quick tip here. So one of the things that I see a lot of times, please listen to this, because I see it a lot. I'm sure Keri, Karma, they see it. All the managing brokers see it. Is where we take an email from the co-op agent and forward it directly to our clients, or vice versa. We take an email from our clients and forward it directly to the co-op broker. And the problem with that, specific to personality types, number one, we know with email tone and context is lost. There's miscommunication inherently in written word. But if you're sending an email from a power person to a perfection person, or a party person to whatever, you're gonna run into issues. Our job, really quickly, hot tip, our job is to get our clients to where they want to go, not escalate emotions by forwarding off communication directly. Take the time to put it in a way that your client will understand, that won't escalate a situation.
Our job is to be advisors for our clients and guide this transaction. Both sides, both agents from both sides are there. It's not their house. It's not their purchase. It's not their transaction. Being a bully in a transaction is not showing value. Showing value is getting your clients to the finish line with where they want to be. And you can advocate in a way that does not turn off other people, because how many of us have been in transactions where it has started out in a really rocky place? And Keri, you were saying this yesterday, you know, if it starts out rocky, it's probably going to end rocky. If
Absolutely.
it ends,
Absolutely.
get to the finish line. But everything that we do from that first showing, if it's accompanied, from the feedback that we give to that agent, because we want to be a professional and we would want feedback if we had taken the time out to do a showing, even if we're not accompanying. But the way we treat others in terms of our co-ops really changes the outcomes of your transactions, which at the end of the day, besides the fact that our primary goal is to provide outstanding service for our clients, it is also going to get you more referrals and grow your business, because it's going to get your clients what they're looking for as painlessly as possible. Because we need, when people at least like each other a little bit, we all know that things get done differently in deals where people like each other as opposed to not. So, you know, always think about setting the tenor of that transaction from the very, very first interaction and continuing it. And then only one other comment. I know that, so when Greg had typed in about, you know, feeling like maybe being a chameleon is not genuine or authentic, one thought that I had was it's not so much that the chameleon doesn't have their own color or personality, but that they're adjusting their color to their environment. And in our case, as a salesperson, you're adjusting it to your client to give them what they need as opposed to what you need. So maybe thinking about it from that perspective. And then
I think it's also, I just want to add, I think it's also important that we get all this training as salespeople to identify personality types. The people that we're dealing with don't. And so that's all we're saying, is that we have the training to not be a chameleon, let's say, but let's just meet our people, our clients, our co-op brokers where they are, because we have the training, we have the knowledge, and we're just trying to move it forward.
Right. And that's our job, not our clients.
Yeah.
So, you know, finding the right house and or selling somebody's house for them, that's our job. Our job is to make it as painless as it can be for our clients, because it isn't their full-time job. So one of the things, and somebody actually put it in the chat. So the pro tip that's going to come from me, and I know this will be shocking to anyone that knows me well, is how can we use the platform CRM with our personality matching, right? So we should all have farms where we're putting our people in the CRM. So it would be a great idea for target marketing or target communication to create farms for your power people, for your perfection people, for your peace people, and for your, who did I miss? Power, party, peace, perfection. So that we have one for everybody. And I was taking a little bit of, I took a quick look into Content Hub and in the e-campaigns. And, you know, there's some really easy things that we have in there where if you did organize your people by their personality type, you would be able to send out some really specific stuff for those people. So if you've got a power person, you've got an entrepreneur, a CEO, a bottom line person, a great thing would be those market recap snapshots that we have that you can post on media, but you can also send them through an e-campaign. The other thing that I think power people would love, they're driven toward the future, right? They want results. They want to know, they have goals, they want to achieve them. So anytime you're maybe reading a Wall Street Journal or some other kind of financial article, post, whatever, something where there are forecasts, right? Giving a really quick, short, succinct synopsis of some forecasts, maybe, and hopefully, maybe even we could find something that's local. So if you've got your farm of people in a particular geographic area, you could combine that with the people who are power people and sending them just the right thing that would be intriguing to them. And then in terms of peace people, and I don't have a camp in peace, so I had to ask Keri a little bit about peace, and she had some great suggestions. So if we were to put them in a farm, and then you look at showing them maybe before and after photos of things that we've got where there are blog posts and things that shows a before and after of a space. Because while peace people are resistant to change, maybe demonstrating the effects, the results, the positive results that you could get from a change will encourage them to be willing to take a step that they otherwise might be a little bit reticent to take. And also, you know, I saw one in there that was interesting, tips for surviving an unconventional return to school at home. We have that blog. I think for anybody who is a peace person and has had a hard time with change, that would be another interesting thing. And it's about emotion, etc. Perfection people, that's data. So we've got the market report that comes out every month. All of you can send those out pretty easily. Then again, you can do things on InfoSparks where you create a target area and then send those to your perfection people. Any kind of data that you can get goes to perfection people. And then party people, and apparently all of Canada, we then would maybe send them like event info, like when you see cool events happening, not that there are any right now, but maybe somebody's doing something on like what the Barrington and Libertyville offices are doing. They're doing a mixology class, a Zoom one. You know, there are all kinds of things out there that are happening via Zoom right now where you could send an invitation to people who are party people. And that's an easy way to have some outreach, doing something fun, find a party, some kind of party type event to invite them to. There's all kinds of Halloween stuff going on socially distant for those that have kids, things like that. So just some different ideas for how to use your CRM to be able to do targeted outreach that is genuine and also matches your clients' personalities. And I think the one thing we didn't talk about as much is that you often have two people in that transaction, your clients, and they often are going to be different personality types. So then thinking about how you're going to cater to both of them within that same transaction is always something of a juggling act. And it's one of the reasons that we need to understand how to communicate to each of them separately. And then how do we communicate to them together? You know, what can we do with the way we communicate, written, oral, whatever it might be, our process, adjusting. How do we do that so it works for both of them?
Yeah, that's a hot pro tip there. And just like anything else with the CRM, don't be overwhelmed. Go in as just do your A's and B's, do the top people, your A's, the people that you're currently working with. You don't have to go through, and if you have 2,000 people in your CRM, you don't have to go through and put them all into one of those farms. Clearly, you don't know everybody that closely. So love that tip. Great, Karma. And the last pro tip here is going to be regarding testimonials. And so here's what we see and what we know and what we do, right, as agents. We, when it comes to testimonials on our branding book, if we have one, on our agent site at appproperties.com, everywhere else, we load up all of these testimonials. We put 50 testimonials in. And when you think about it, who is reading 50 testimonials? Nobody. Think about what you do when you're shopping for something. And again, this depends on your personality type. How much do you read? What do you read? Which testimonials do you read about a resort, a hotel, somewhere where you're going to go, about a product? Here's my suggestion. With your testimonials, choose 4. Only show 4 testimonials, one that attracts each personality type. Meaning, what testimonial would it be for a power person? Well, it's likely short, to the point, very impactful, strong language. It might be 2 sentences, 3 sentences. But if you're a power person, you don't have time to analyze and read all these stories within testimonials. That's what a power person is going to be attracted to. Party person, that's going to be the long one. That's going to be the one. It was so much fun. We're best friends. We had, wine every other Thursday, whatever. That's going to be the party person. And then you've got the peace people. The peace people are the ones that it was such a smooth transaction. We had we felt very comfortable working with them. And then you've got what didn't I cover? Peace, power, perfection. Did I do perfection? Perfection is we got exactly what we wanted. We knew what to expect. It's the price, like details, right? When it comes to details about, they knew exactly what we were looking for, all of that. So think about this. Instead of putting 50 testimonials in some random order, whatever you think is best and whatever makes us feel good, choose 4 that are going to attract each one of those personality types. Well, we talked about so many great things today, Karma and Keri.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Keri. And for everyone watching, thank you for being here. Have a great day.
Have a great Thursday, guys. See you later.